And we are live for episode 2 here on Spreaker. And I'm sure a lot of you are getting this through all our other platforms. My name is Len Branswitz. I am the person in charge here tonight, giving you live podcast, talking to you about what's in the news today. Well, I get a little upset at times since I've been sort of on the front line of COVID research, COVID vaccine research, getting the shots, not getting the shots, lecturing about potential problems with the shots, and if you're going to take the shot, how do you protect yourself? Or if you're not going to get the shot, how do you protect yourself? Well, let me just say this. Back almost a year ago, I was involved in a study taking a look at those that had died in the original year, 2020, of COVID. Excuse me. And we found a stark problem. What was that problem? It wasn't so much the elderly, it wasn't the young, it wasn't the black, it wasn't the white, it wasn't the yellow, it wasn't the purple. It had nothing to do with race or ethnicity. It had to do with obesity and hypertension. And we laid that out there as the number one reason. And when the statistical data came out, basically saying 82 to 85% of those that died of COVID in that initial year were well overweight. And there was a big reason that their system could not keep up. So if that was where the iniquity is, that those that were obese needed to maybe be at the front line of the vaccines. But the intriguing thing is those that are obese and overweight seem to have the greatest hesitancy of getting the vaccine. And we fight that battle over and over again. And the issue squarely falls upon each and every one of us to be accountable for our own body weight, body style, etc., etc. So I get really sick of seeing the liberal media trying to make COVID a racial thing. It's racist. Bull. And again, September 9th, a couple days ago, new study on COVID-19 vaccinations in the largest U.S. cities finds stark inequities. A study of the 9 largest U.S. cities, researchers found stark racial, there it is, ethnic, there it is, socioeconomic inequities in COVID-19 vaccination rates across neighborhoods. The study showed that high vaccination neighborhoods had more white residents, fewer people of color, higher incomes, and lower poverty rates. Can I say this? And say it, please, with a complete understanding that the greatest rates of obesity, the greatest rates of hypertension are in the African American community? And the most non-compliant individuals are in the African American community? And this isn't a racist show. And those that have had the greatest hesitancy to get the vaccine is in the African American community. Well, it didn't help that this illustrious woman who calls herself our vice president, when she was running for president, made that illustrious claim that if Trump had anything to do with these vaccines, I'd have nothing to do with it. And that resonated through the African American community. And to this day, that thought process is still going on. They looked at high vaccination rates in neighborhoods that were more well-to-do, that if they were more well-to-do, whatever that means, possibly took care of themselves better and had less obesity, or would pay attention to shows and podcasts like this that would throw out over and over again what you need to do to protect yourself. And those individuals in those communities would make the budgetary issues to their family to go out and get the correct supplements to protect themselves. where those in the inner city spent their monies elsewhere. The researchers analyzed inequities in vaccination in the 9 largest U.S. cities, covering a total population of 40.8 million people: New York, L.A., Chicago, Houston, Phoenix, Philadelphia, San Antonio, San Diego, and Dallas. I noticed that Tampa wasn't on there. And it is one of the 9 largest. Did they just go, oops, we don't want to do that? And I don't want to bore you with how they put together their numbers. Using data on COVID-19 vaccination and death rates from state and local health authorities, they looked and found. This was published in JAMA. Kind of thing I would just crumble up, in fact I will, and throw it away. I'm going to go back to June 11. A larger study of inequities in vaccination rates, comparing not so much ethnicity or race, which the liberals love to do, instead looking at geographics, urban areas versus suburban areas versus, here's a unique name, rural areas. Poverty and disability are linked to lower vaccination rates. In the inner city? In the inner city? In the black community? In the Latino community? No, in the rural communities. The Vaccination Transportation Initiative sponsored vans helped rural residents get vaccines in rural Mississippi, an effort that continues to overcome the lack of transportation and access to technology for rural residents. Rural communities outside of America's cities, not inner city, not suburbia, rural communities are falling further behind in the race to vaccinate against COVID-19, as that guy that calls himself our president said his goal was try to reach 70% of American adults. Alaska is the sole state where average rural rates of fully vaccinated people have grown faster than urban rates. Only Alaska. JAMA would have you believe in the 9 largest cities and the 9 largest states that there is racism involved in the distribution of vaccines. Let me tell you, if you're listening now and you're African American and you live in an urban city and you haven't been vaccinated, if you're overweight, you better go get a bus ride to your local Walgreens and get it. No excuses. Over a dozen states where rural rates were actually beating urban ones. 7 weeks ago have flipped. So now, rural areas nationwide are falling further and further behind the urban inner city. Don't gimme the fact that you can't get there. There's a Walgreens or a CVS or a Target or a Walmart on every corner. All you need to do is go. It's free. F-R-E-E. Now, if you hear me ranting and raving and you still say, I'm not going to get that vaccine, then you better do something. And if you want to follow our protocol of buffered forms of vitamin C, 2 capsules twice a day, that's 4 grams a day, and acetylcysteine, 500 milligrams, 2 capsules twice a day, 2,000 milligrams, ultra probiotic twice a day, vitamin D 5,000 once a day. That protocol offers a great level of protection, folks. The number to reach us off air, you want to set up your own personal consulting time with me or my staff to go over your health and whatever other issues you have. We have numerous testing techniques available for you and would love for you to become part of our Nutrition Shop family. Call us at the office at 678-228-8900, 678-228-8900. Our website is the Nutrition Shop, SHOPPE.net. God bless you, folks. See you back here tomorrow. Take care.